Oh my God, I am struggling tonight, boys. How are we doing?
Well, I think Trevor and I are probably a little bit better than you at the moment.
Yeah,
We're just
yeah.
having today.
Absolute struggle. But anyways, it's a pleasure to be back in front of all you beautiful people. We have Buckle Up with the Boys here again. This episode is going to be sponsored by Crystal Clean Cars, or Christy Crystal Clean Cars. And it's just an honor and a privilege to have you two boys leading the charge with me. We got NFL, NBA, MLB news to touch on. We're going to mix it up for you beautiful people out there. We're going to have myself touch on NFL, Nate touch on NBA, and Trevor touch on MLB. I think that's going to be fun. We'll see how it goes. If we do good, we do good. If not, we'll trash it then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, boys, there's a lot of news coming out of the Washington Commanders organization. Nate, I know you enjoyed Dan Snyder very much. But so he's been fined now after the investigation was found $60 million additionally to the other millions that he's been fined. So what do you guys think? You think this is like setting sail? See you later, Dan. Don't let the door hit you in the ass and here's $60 million you got to pay.
Hopefully that's the one final news clipping that we hear about this guy, but I kind of doubt it. I think there's still going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out over the years about him. I just saw a piece about him that said Jay Gruden did not believe that he should have had the power and authority to draft players. He wasn't putting any time into scouting them. He didn't know the game well enough, and he wouldn't even watch film on guys. He would just say, I'm a billionaire and I'm going to get what I want, which literally confirms the things that I've said for years and various other people. I'm not saying I'm the end all be all person, but like this guy was, like a spoiled rich kid, and I know that he worked for his money, sure, but he became a spoiled rich kid with an NFL team, and he ran his team like he was a 12-year-old kid in a candy store, just loading up on his favorite items. He didn't really take time to do anything. He just picked that nice shiny object off the shelf and did no finer homework on it other than, oh, well, ESPN and Sports Center that I watched this morning at 8 a.m. confirmed that this guy we think's pretty good, so let's just pick him. Like, right. Really? I'm hopeful that we don't hear much more about him, but there will be trickles, I think, for years and years. This happened with Donald Sterling. It's happened with the former Suns owner. It's happened with other people too. But, yeah, we'll just kick Dan Snyder one more time while he's down. What's another 60 million to him? He just got a fat like 6 or 7 billion for his team. So that's like, it's crazy. You can't really fathom how much $1 billion is, or even $1 million, so it's a pretty large number. Trevor's a finance guy. He can attest to that. It's pretty big difference between 8 billion and 60 million. It's kind of, the human mind can't really wrap their head around that.
Right.
Yeah. I tell you, Nate, you said kid in a candy store, and I've been thinking about Snickers bars ever since you said that. I could fuck one of those up right now. But anyway, yeah. Rake Dan Snyder for all he's got, as far as I'm concerned. The atrocities that this guy's committed, he doesn't deserve a penny in his pocket. Like you said, DB, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. I'm very happy that he's finally going to be out of our league. He's finally not going to be an owner and run the franchise, like you said, Nate, like a kid in a candy store.
Right.
That's literally how he did things. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nate, you're a basketball guy. James Dolan just does the same thing.
Yep.
He does the same exact thing. He's a guy that's going to write the checks. He's going to write all kinds of checks, 7-figure, 8-figure checks, and he's not going to know shit about the sport that, he owns a team for. So I can't wait till we don't hear about this guy again. I really can't. And that, like you said, Nate, that's going to be like 10 years down the line. Little shit's going to trickle out here and there. Oh, he did this thing. He did that thing. He did this thing. He did that thing. More dirt's going to come out. And honestly, he might have more dirt on other owners, which is why he might stay relevant too. Right. He said that many times before. He's going to drag other owners down with him. Mm-hmm. Do I believe him? To an extent, sure. But I'm just saying the fact that he has to drag other guys down with him just goes to show you how dirty is this guy really. He's probably the worst apple of the bunch, it would seem.
Right. I guess to throw out there for you guys, thinking about it while I was passed out, I actually did have a dream about this.
I'm sure you did.
Even though with all the allegations in his organization and whatnot, do you think maybe the NFL, not because of the allegations, I'm not saying the NFL is dirty, I'm not saying any sports, franchisee or whatever, NBA or MLB out there, do you think they're forcing him out because maybe he knows too much? And hey, holy fuck, okay, this guy's a loose cannon. Let's try to find anything on him to get him out. Because I was thinking about that today, Nate, Trevor. Maybe he is a piece of shit, but there might be some shit Goodell doesn't want him to spread.
You don't make that much money without stepping on a few toes.
Right.
No one's a billionaire that's a purely sacred person.
Right.
I mean, as far as that, most billionaires are going to have to answer to the Lord someday.
Yep.
And they're going to have some things to answer for.
Right.
Yes.
Whether those things are as severe as what Mr. Snyder has done, that's all up for speculation. Is it more of a silencing thing like you're saying, Drew? I think that's kind of what your question was.
Yeah.
There are a select few people that will know that in our lifetime. And Unfortunately, we are not three of them.
Yeah, don't speak about it. All right, you might get a knife to the throat. Don't talk about
it. I was gonna say, is somebody from the Commanders driving up to Pittsburgh here? They're about to knock on my door.
No, I'm saying like for him, maybe that's the deal. Like you need to shut the fuck up, sell your team, shut the fuck up, or you might be taking. I don't know. I'm going off speculation. I'm starting to get in my criminal minds series here.
That's okay. I love serial killer documentaries.
Oh yeah.
Why not apply it to sports, Drew?
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem that far-fetched. I mean, there's been other situations like this in the past. I mean, gosh, did Michael Jordan actually retire to play baseball, or did he retire because he gambled too much? We don't know. We'll never know that. You know what I mean? I'd like to think he did it to honor his dad, but like there was a lot of things that happened, that have come out over the years, that we talked about in The Last Dance and other documentaries, videos, all kinds of productions and stuff of the sort. So, I mean, it's very well possible, Drew, that this is just kind of like, hey, get out. We'll fine you $60 million instead of we could have fined you way more.
Right.
Get out of there. You can sell the team. You can take the rest of that billions of dollars, ride off into the sunset, have a good life, live off of your assets for the rest of your life. And if you don't say one word, then we'll be fine. We'll never bring you up again. And, people will bring you up once in a while, but it'll kind of get forgotten about. I don't think of Donald Sterling every day of my life. People won't think of Dan Snyder every day of their life other than, people that are weird. But, yeah. So very Drew, it's a good question to think about.
Yeah. No, I just had to throw that out there. But other, hot topic here that I wanted to see what you guys felt. The Chiefs they're Super Bowl favorites. Do they do it again? Do they win the Super Bowl this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, if no one's watched the quarterback,
I don't know who else would.
Right. If no one's watched the quarterback documentary on Netflix yet, Pat Mahomes basically pulled Michael Jordan in that fucking, just like Last Dance. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I'll tell you right now, I enjoy the shit out of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes, he thinks he's I don't know. I think he has more focus off field now.
I will give Kirk Cousins props for one thing, and I saw this on a TikTok about 5 minutes before we started. They were asking the guys, are you going to go see Barbie or Oppenheimer? Kirk Cousins was the one guy that said Oppenheimer because I like history and I don't have kids. So I'm all for that guy. As far as the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, I don't know who's going to beat them.
Okay. Steelers.
It's very, very hard to go back-to-back in today's game.
Yes.
I'm honestly hoping we see a rematch of last year, and then Jalen Hurts gets his props because he played a great, great, great game in last year's Super Bowl.
Right.
I believe he had 3 touchdowns, 350-plus all-purpose yards, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts arrived. It's just unfortunate that he was playing probably the greatest team of our time in the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
And I say the greatest team of our time, neglecting the Patriots, but I'm a Steelers fan, so F the Patriots, okay?
Amen.
Yeah. I can deal with Kermit the Frog giving a speech at a parade every now and again. I can't deal with Tom Brady hoisting another Lombardi. I just my heart could not take that. But no, I'm honestly hoping Jalen Hurts gets his props. I'm hoping the Eagles make another push for it. I mean, I know they lost a lot in terms of personnel and in terms of, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator. So it's going to be tough, but I think they had a good draft, and I think they're going to have a good little free agency period here. They're going to be just fine. I think they'll make another run at it, and I think they'll win it. Okay. I'm picking the Eagles.
Nate?
I would hate if the Eagles won the Super Bowl because I cannot stand Philadelphia fans. So freaking annoying. CJ Gardner-Johnson was on a podcast yesterday. They're like, what was your least favorite part about being in Philly? And what was your favorite part? And he's like, I love the weather. It was weird. I didn't mind the snow there, but I hated the fans. They were so freaking annoying. He literally said it on it wasn't a podcast, excuse me. It was on Twitch. He was playing video games, and he literally said, I can't stand these fans.
He was playing GTA 5.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, that makes one more to the collection, and you played there. So I hate the time that the Eagles won the Super Bowl finally over the Patriots, probably the only time that I would ever root for them. That's probably about it. Maybe against like the Ravens or the Bengals or the Browns too, but there's very few exceptions that I would root for them. I do think that there is more competition in the AFC than there is in the NFC to win the Super Bowl personally. I really don't think Philadelphia is going to be that good again. I think they lost too many pieces with their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I think that some of their gimmicks last year with pulling Hurts across the line isn't going to fly. There's teams that have been preparing for that, and they're going to find a way to stop that crap with that quarterback dive and quarterback throw across the line to get the first down crap. They lost some players as well. A lot of players on both sides of the ball went and got, good money. I like the 49ers still. I think that that's a team that could possibly click in the NFC, but I really, really, really like the Bengals to give them a good run, as much as it pains me to say it. Joe Burrow is different. He's voted like second or third best quarterback in the NFL. The Bills, they're still around. If they can freaking just get over that hump, they're going to be right there. They have enough talent still. They have – if they can get Diggs under control, they can figure out the defense, and they can stay a little bit healthier, and their offensive line get a surge, they're going to be right there too. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I hope not. I don't think the Chiefs will repeat. I really hope not. I'm kind of getting sick of them as well. They're very talented. They're not quite as bad as the Patriots level yet, but I think they could get to that way someday if they keep that core together. But, no, it's very hard to repeat. I think the last team that's done it was the Patriots about 2 decades ago or so. So I'm going to say no. I hope I'm right, but those are the teams I could see – the only teams I could see really knocking them off for sure.
Okay.
So let me get this straight here. Nobody's picking the Cowboys?
Well, I was going to touch – that's a good tie-in.
Nobody's going to pick the Cowboys. So I'll let you go, Drew.
Here's
something to say about that.
No, it's good because we've been on a hiatus of talking shit on them. So Dak Prescott,
that is true. We need to do that.
He threw 15 interceptions in just 12 games last season, and he became the first QB in NFL history to lead the NFL in interceptions despite missing 5 games. So, how long do they ride this fucking thing out? Because they forced Tony Romo out. Oh my God, it's been years and years. Because this is the guy. He's not the guy. I mean, he's done well, Nate. But I mean, how long do you deal with this piss poor performance?
Until his contract is done. They're not getting rid of him. No way. Nope. I mean, Cooper Rush, what'd he go? 6-0? Didn't even get a crack when Dak Prescott came back, or 6-1, whatever he went.
6-0, 5-1, something like that.
Yeah, whatever he was. He was pretty good. I know he wasn't fantastic. He had some pretty good games, though. That Cowboys team's talented. I just don't believe that Dak Prescott is quite elite enough to get it done. And there's some curse over that over the Cowboys' head, and I don't understand it. They're missing one piece. I think the piece that they're missing now is wide receivers. I don't think they have enough wide receivers to get it done. And I think I'm going to say this about Dak. I know Dak throws a lot of picks. He does. I don't think he had enough talent at wide receiver last year to warrant, him not throwing those interceptions. He probably had to force it, So I'm gonna say that. So I'm not speaking, that highly of him, but I think that was probably a situation that makes sense that he threw some picks that he probably wouldn't have run if he had some other receivers besides CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz that could get open. Truly,
Right.
Drew, I'm gonna pull a little fast one on you here. I'm gonna say a prayer live on this podcast, if I may. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, ever loving and gracious God, please do not lift the curse that is on the Dallas Cowboys for the rest of my lifetime. Amen.
All right, I agree. It's been I think since we were born, they haven't won a playoff game. That's a beautiful
and
thing.
it can be triple that time until they win anything again, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
They've won playoff games. They just haven't been to the Super Bowl in 30 years.
30 years. That's right.
Yeah. They've won half as many playoff games as the Carolina Panthers since we've been alive. Think about that. The Carolina effing Panthers, right?
Right. Yeah.
One of the most cursed franchises in the NFL, and the Cowboys are worse than them since we've been alive. I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be happier. I know many Cowboys fans, and there's maybe some Cowboys fans watching this podcast. First of all, y'all can F off as far as I'm concerned, because you're Cowboys. No, thank you. I don't want that. And then second of all, keep losing. Please keep disappointing your fans. Keep getting your fans to say "we them boys" for the first 13, 14, 15 weeks of the season, only for you guys to falter in the first round of the playoffs. It brings me more joy than Stephen A. Smith. I swear to God. It is so fantastic to watch the Cowboys just suffer and suffer and suffer every year. And they're going to suffer as long as Dak's at quarterback and as long as Mike McCarthy is coaching that.
That's a good point.
They're going to continue to suffer. And like you said, Nate, they don't have the receivers. As talented as their top two receivers are, and as good as they are for your fantasy team, trust me, I had CeeDee Lamb last year.
Same.
Good. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good for my fantasy team. It's not enough to get you over the hump. And if there's any more poetic play in the history of the Cowboys to describe their history in the last 25 years, it's their last play of last season where Zeke got absolutely wrecked when he was at center, and that what's-his-name got tackled 10 yards down. He hit him on a hitch route. He got immediately tackled on what was intended to be a lateral play. I laughed my ass off for about 20 minutes at that play. I watched it over and over. I couldn't get enough of it. Give me more of it, please. Give me more of it. Because I know the Steelers, as good as the Steelers are going to be, we don't have Super Bowl expectations yet, right? No. We don't have, I wouldn't even say we're close to that yet. But at least we can take solace in the Cowboys suffering every year, and their fans suffering every single year. Yeah. I will never forgive them for what they did to Neil O'Donnell. I will never forgive them for that. Although Neil O'Donnell did that to himself. But anyway, I know I hijacked your show there, Drew.
No. I loved it. No, I really think as long as the Cowboys can stay down and the only thing that people go to watch at the games are the cheerleaders, I think it's a good day. I really do. And, I've said it multiple times. I'm going to get it on a fucking T-shirt because people just enjoy it. Mike McCarthy with the platter of fucking chicken fingers. It does not equate to how important it is for Vrabel to have a chew in his bottom lip. Okay. So until McCarthy and Dak are out of there, I don't think there's any success for the Cowboys organization. I know that's bold. I know I'm going to get attacked. I don't really give a fuck. Jerry Jones is more worried about the hoochies at the clubs than his damn organization. So whatever. It is what it is. But another thing I want to touch on here. So how quick do you think Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Anthony Richardson make an impact in the NFL this season? Do they get instant success? Is there some growing pains? What do you think is going to happen here? Because everybody's so fucking high on them, Nate. This is a quarterback class. Last year, Kenny's class, it was shit. Okay, well, let's see it then. What do you think?
Well, I'll say this. I think all of them have a chance to have some success right away because their divisions that they're in are terrible.
Right.
They stink. I mean, Bryce Young, right off the bat, plays two of the arguably three worst teams in the league, right in his own freaking division. Tampa Bay is going to be terrible. So there's one of them. There's two freaking games right off the bat. CJ Stroud, he's going to play against some crappy teams as well. So all of them have a chance to be successful. I don't know what it is. I don't know why everybody loves Anthony Richardson. I don't understand it. I never will. I hope the dude proves me wrong, but I don't get it. I don't understand how you can have below a 60% completion percentage, mid 50s, high 50s completion percentage at Florida in the SEC, and you're like this great player. And the Colts can't get this quarterback thing right. They haven't gotten it right since Phillip Rivers, and arguably they didn't even get that right. I still think Phillip Rivers played pretty well that year, by the way, but they haven't gotten the thing right in a long time. So, yeah, I don't know. The one that I think will have the best success right off the bat is Bryce Young. I think he'll come in and he'll be ready. I keep seeing things that he's ready right off the bat and all that stuff. But I think CJ Stroud has the most upside of everybody personally. The one thing that he has against him is, goodness gracious, he has nobody to throw the freaking ball to. And nobody to throw the ball to. Bryce Young at least has Thielen and Sanders and a few other guys. You know what I mean? And Stroud has nothing. Richardson's got some people. He's got Pittman, and he's got Mo Alley Cox, and he's got Jonathan Taylor behind him. That's pretty good. I will say Stroud has Dameon Pierce behind him, and he's not half bad, but I think that he's due for a sophomore slump, if I'm being completely honest. So if I'm going to pick somebody to have the most success right off the bat, it's Bryce Young, then CJ Stroud, then Anthony Richardson, even if Anthony Richardson has more weapons around him. I don't know what it is about him. I'm not sold on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the argument for CJ Stroud here, and that he has Dameon Pierce, who may or may not have a sophomore slump. You might be right. I think Pierce will go probably higher than what he's supposed to in a lot of fantasy drafts. That's just the way it is with these second-year running backs. They have a great first year, and then they're projected to do really, really well, and then somehow they fall off. But I will say the Texans did acquire Robert Woods, and they got John Mechie coming back. So don't underestimate too much the influence that those guys can have on CJ Stroud's progression, especially within that division, because you got the Colts, you got the Titans, and you got the Jags.
Yeah,
three teams that aren't exactly known for their defense in recent times.
Right. I will say this though, I'd agree with you, Trevor, but you know that where Robert Woods was last year, right?
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware. I drafted him in a couple leagues and live to regret it.
It's where you go to die. You go to the Tennessee Titans and you play wide receiver, you go to die.
Yeah.
They had A.J. Brown, and he never got targeted more than 10 times in a game with the Titans, I believe.
It's
sickening.
I actually did not know that. That is hurl worthy, is what that is.
So D-Hop, I want to win. Yeah, you want to win the lottery, bud, because you got almost 30 mil to go stink.
Yeah.
If you can make it work with Randy Moss, then don't talk to me. Randy Moss freaking retired and went to the 49ers after retirement, and he was good. He was better there after taking a full year of retirement than he was with the Titans. He didn't even get a touchdown.
Oh, I didn't even know he was on the fucking Titans.
You see what I mean?
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So no, but good point, Trevor. I mean, they have some better weapons than
I mean, CJ Stroud, in my opinion, is the most pro-ready guy of all of them.
Yeah.
He has the measurables. He fit a nice system at Ohio State. Through the vertical passing game to a lot of talented receivers at Ohio State. As jealous as I am of the receivers that Ohio State has, they're pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had a great collegiate career. I think he's going to have a solid NFL career as well. It's a shame that it has to start with the Texans, but that's how these things go. You're good in college, you get drafted in the top 10, you're going to go to a crappy team, you're going to have to lift them up a little bit. And that's what CJ Stroud's going to have to do with the Houston Texans. And I don't know how well the Houston Texans are going to do. I'd be intrigued to see their over/under total on FanDuel and maybe put some little money on that. 4.5. Yeah, probably about that. Well, even with the division they're in, that's kind of yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I got 3 more points, and then we're going to switch over to Nate with the NBA. So this is a very interesting thing, and I like to see these. I like to see stats. Before I even did this podcast, I'm going to go back someday and look at these. I find these very interesting. Nate, you're like a walk-in thesaurus with sports knowledge. So you too, Trevor. But the Chargers have scored more points and have allowed more points in Justin Herbert's starts than any other QB through 3 NFL seasons since the 1970 merger. We haven't touched on the Chargers. That's a team that has so much fucking potential, but they just, for whatever reason, they miss. They just fucking stink at points.
Yep.
And they're like the best on the fucking team. They got, I think, and this might be bold, and some people might disagree. I know the card people love Justin Herbert's shit. He's a pretty goddamn good quarterback.
Absolutely.
And I think he gets overshadowed
God,
by I think he gets overshadowed by Burrow. I mean, I really do. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, look at the other guy that's in his division.
Right.
He's overshadowed by that guy too.
Right.
I don't know what it is with the Chargers. They have the Chargers. I saw an interesting little YouTube video on them. They once had the top-ranked defense and top-ranked offense. I believe it was 2010. Top-ranked defense, top-ranked offense, and somehow missed the playoffs because of their special teams luck.
Yep.
They have no luck whatsoever. I mean, people talk about like the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills in terms of snake-bitten franchises. Put the Chargers right up there as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I mean, Nate, you and I were there when they blew that lead to the Jaguars this past season. I lost a decent amount of money on that. I about threw shit in Nate's house. That's the only reason I didn't throw shit, because it was Nate's house. It wasn't my house. It wasn't my shit. I couldn't destroy it.
Fuck.
But anyway, the Chargers, they have all the talent in the world. They just have the absolute worst luck at the worst time. And I will say a lot of it's on the head coach, especially these recent years. A lot of it's on the head coach. I mean, if he doesn't call that timeout in the Raiders game, those guys tie. Guess what? Steelers don't make the playoffs. Chargers and Raiders do. To this day, I can't believe that. That's the most anxious I've ever been at a game. But he doesn't call that timeout. Jacobs doesn't have that 13-yard, 14, 15-yard run, whatever it was, to get the Raiders into field goal position. Daniel Carlson hits it. He makes more questionable decisions than Clint Hurdle did with the Pirates. I swear to God. It's as soon as they get rid of that guy, I don't know who they're going to replace him with. But in terms of timely decisions, it's got to get better from here. It's got to get better from here for the Chargers.
I got to throw this out here. When I see him coach, and again, I don't mean people have given me shit. I compare a lot to the video games, but if you play the game, he plays like I do in Madden, which is very fucking concerning. Like, he's going for 4th down at his own 25. Usually I make it. Usually I don't need a controller, gets fucking mangled, but I don't know.
The controller.
Right. As the owner and as the organization, this guy is ballsy as fuck. And I forgot about the timeout, Trevor.
He called timeout.
He's very eager, and I think it bites him in the ass. And then his little fucking persona on the fucking sideline, that gets me going. What do you think, though, Nate? What the hell are they missing?
Well, I think they missed a golden opportunity over the last 2 years to fire Brandon Staley and hire what's his freaking name for the Broncos? Sean Payton. Thank you. I just had a blank.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it. I was very shocked. I thought that after that playoff loss that they would potentially fire him. I thought honestly they could fire him after the timeout. I'm like, this guy just crapped his pants on national television 2 years in a row. Let's keep him. Meanwhile, Marty Schottenheimer goes 14-2, arguably has one of the greatest teams in NFL history. He loses one freaking playoff game. They're like, see you, Marty. One of the best freaking coaches of all time.
Hands down.
And you're going to keep Brandon Staley over Marty Schott. I mean, I know this was like 15 years apart from when these happened, but seriously, it's just bizarre. So bizarre to me. You know what I mean? I don't believe in Brandon Staley. I love Justin Herbert. I think he's a very humble guy. He's incredible. He's got incredible legs. He's got incredible arm. His freaking teammates never stay healthy for the freaking guy.
Yeah.
You got a disgruntled Austin Eckler now, which sucks because the dude's underpaid, I believe. For honestly, all he needs to do is just go, I'm not playing running back anymore. I'm a slot receiver. Then he's going to get paid. Just say, I won't go in the backfield anymore. And his value changes. I know he could do it. He does it all the time anyway.
Right. One
of the best wide receiver, best receiving running backs of all time. I don't think there's any debate about it.
Right.
But you got Keenan Allen, who will tweak his hamstring and be out 10 games. Not that I know anything about that he was on my bench for fantasy for 2.5 months and didn't do shit. But
IR, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And
then
hopefully an IR spot.
And then Mike Williams, he tweaks his hamstring and he's out 2 games, then he's back for a game, then he's out 2 games, then he's back for a game. It's just a disaster. And then their defense. Their defense is never good. Derwin James is a stud. He gets hurt all the time. They have too much money wrapped up in too few players. And that's how the Steelers defense is getting too, which has me worried. But the one thing about us, we're not cursed.
No.
We've got 6 rings. We've won a lot of games. Even when we stink, we have a winning season or a 500 season. Those guys, they have a bad season and they could fire the whole coaching staff, trade away 50 guys, and 50 guys could leave for free agency. You don't know what's going to happen. I honestly think they could go from playoffs to not making it this year. That's one of my teams that I don't think will make it.
I agree. I'll ride that horse with you. But okay.
The Broncos could boot them out. The Jets could be better. I keep going back and forth on the Jets.
Jets are in.
The Jets are always a sexy free agency team. You know what I mean? They're always like, oh, this is the year. This is the year. I could see them just laying a dud again. The Dolphins are good. The Bills are good. The Patriots, I think, are going to be better now that they have Bill O'Brien in there on offense. They already had a great defense.
Right.
The Steelers should be decent. The Bengals are going to be good. The Chiefs are good. The Jaguars are good. The Colts could be better.
All right.
I mean, the Bills are amazing. Like, there's going to be some teams. I think the Chargers are excited. AFC is going to be nuts. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Every time Trevor puts if you don't have Trevor on social media, you should go follow him as well. But when he puts that shit on his story, countdown, I just get fucking jacked up. Larry Foote. Okay.
If I may interject here, we are inside of 50 days until football. We are inside of 50 days, and I did put out Larry Foote yesterday, but there was another 50 that I had in mind. I just finished his book, and I'm actually wearing his jersey right now.
That's what I was.
So viewers will be able to see this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shea Leaf, baby.
Yep.
Shea Leaf. It was tough. I actually made that post kind of in haste at like 10 p.m. when I almost forgot about it. I'm like, oh, Larry Foote. But I would be remiss if I were not to mention Ryan Shazier and what he meant to the Steelers and what he continues to mean to the Steelers. Right. But yes, we are inside of 50 days until NFL football, and it can't get here soon enough.
I can already feel my skin fucking boiling. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get fucking angry and scream at a television every goddamn Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. I can't.
You're only screaming at one television?
Well, phone. If someone gets injured,
laptop, portable monitor,
radio. I scream. I want to rip the fucking radio out of my goddamn car sometimes. But no, one thing I got to touch on, boys, is that I really am the 2 major athletes right now, running back position. I'm going to touch on it. So the average running back is making 1.8 mil, and an NFL kicker is making 2.2 million. that's a little fucking concerning that's how unappreciated and deappreciated the value of running back in the NFL is. I mean, no offense. I'm not saying it's Bill Cowher Steelers here. We're not going to fucking pass, Ben. We're going to run it and Ben change the culture there. But I'm just saying, what are we doing? Like, you're getting these athletes. I'm not saying, Mixon, he took a cut just to stay with the team. Well, I think he played a vital. I'm not a big fan of him, but for him to have to take a cut just to stay with the team, you're going to let that guy go after he's provided, I think, pretty damn good cover protection for Joe Burrow and running game. I don't know, Nate. Do you think it'll ever change, Trevor? I mean, what the fuck? This is just crazy to me. No, I'm not taking away from kickers. It takes a lot of fucking focus and effort to put the fucker through the net. But I mean, it's not, you're not getting your shit kicked in every fucking drive you'd run it.
In my mind, we are in the most unique time, pretty much ever, for the running back market.
Yeah.
We have a lot of young guys out there who are fairly low draft picks, who are very high value to teams.
Right.
And why go and draft a guy in the first round when you can get Isaiah Pacheco in the 6th, 7th round, whatever he was drafted in, and pay him like less than $1 million to be a bruiser inside and to be anything and everything you need a running back to be.
Right.
It is deeply concerning. It is deeply concerning because the running back position, it is obviously it's less prominent. It's a passing league. We all know that. That's the way the league is trending. But I don't know. These top tier guys, they still have a place in the game. They still have a place in the game. There's a reason that it's obviously it's still a position in the game, and it's saddening. It's sickening to watch how much the running back position has depreciated year over year.
I guess
probably more so than any other year that I've been alive and a football fan, if I'm being totally honest with you.
I don't want to interrupt you, Trevor, but Barkley and Jacobs help with the argument here, and my skin's boiling because you got two face of the league guys. You got Barkley and Jacobs. They're not going to fucking trading camp, and then you're going to say, "Oh, okay, well you're getting treated like shit." We're also going to mark down 50,000 every day you miss. It fucking gets me going. I mean, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, where the fuck was that when Le'Veon Bell was pulling this bullshit, wanting to be a fucking boxer? And he comes back. Did you guys see that video? He comes back and says, "Oh, I'm sorry to the city of Pittsburgh." No, fuck you. You keep your bags wherever the fuck you are.
To be fair, Drew, he's one of the guys that left that actually apologized.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We've known many that have left and did not apologize. You know who I'm talking about. At least he apologized.
Yes. Yeah. What do you think, Nate?
Well, I think that there's about a handful of running backs in this league that are worth that top dollar, but I don't think there's many. Okay. This is a running back by committee league now.
That's okay.
I agree. I actually agree that the average kicker should be paid more than the average running back. I really do.
Whatever you think. Yeah.
I mean, I really do. Like these guys, they can spot kick it. Onside kicks are hard as shit. They're supposed to be good at that. Got to kick touchbacks. You got to kick to onsides. You got to make these crazy field goals now. I mean, they want you to kick 50, 55, 60 yards regularly now. That's pretty damn hard to do in all these conditions with games on the line, all this pressure. These fantasy freaking people are going to tweet at you and message you and death threat you to death. It's terrible. I can't stand that personally, but I think that a good kicker, goodness gracious, Chris Boswell won us a game by himself. He had 18 points against the Bengals. That's all we scored. Right. Running backs didn't do that.
Thank you, Pac-Man Jones and Vontaze Burfict for that.
Yeah, that certainly helps too. I won't deny that. I'll say this.
Continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
So they've restructured the NFL rosters. You can have more people than you used to be able to. They've changed this third quarterback rule.
Yes.
I would like them to put an athlete position because they do it coming out of high school. They have like you're getting recruited as an athlete and they could put you on offense or defense or whatever. I would like them to put an athlete position. That way that like you can have like 12 athletes or something. They can be people you put at running back, tight end, receiver, and you can just use them however the crap you want. They can use whatever the jerseys can be in this certain range, whatever. It's already happening. Ty Montgomery was one of the first guys that did it. You know, he was a wide receiver that became a running back because the Packers were so desperate, and he had previously ran the football before, so they threw him in. And then here we start. We had Deebo Samuel, and last year CeeDee Lamb took the reverses, and Chase Claypool was taking reverses a ton with us for his first few years. Yeah. I think you can put receivers back there and tight ends back there. Kelsey goes back there and runs the ball a couple times.
Right.
I think that's what the move is. Load up on these athletes. I don't even think they have to be a running back. You know what I mean? There's a few that I'm like, okay, there's a reason they're back there. They're more dynamic than the average one. But I think that some of these wide receivers and tight ends are so talented right now. And honestly, even some of the returners that might even play defense too. They're so dynamic with the ball in their hands. I would just like to see it become like athlete position, and you're kind of assessed like, can you play all these different things? Can you return? Can you block? Can you catch the ball? Can you run the ball? Can you do all these certain things? You know, I think that's one way to solve it. But the way that they think they're going to solve it is put these rules in about veteran running backs have to make X amount of money after X age or X years of service, kind of like veterans minimum and stuff. They're going to raise it for running backs because the veterans minimum is not, it's the same for, I think, every position technically. And I think that these running backs are pissed off and want it to be a higher minimum for the running back position, which is stupid. That isn't how it fixes it. It's supply and demand, just like, I mean, it's economics in the NFL. I think that's how it should work. And that's the solution, I think. I just kind of thought of that on the fly. Make it athletes instead of running back, wide receiver. Just name everybody an athlete then.
Okay. So you're saying like akin to a flex in fantasy,
something
like that.
Right. Okay. Right. And these running backs have to be able to adapt. Come out of college and come out of this. Be ready to block, be ready to return, be ready to catch the ball in the slot, be ready to go out wide. I mean, I know that's a lot to ask, but there's people that do it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I think these people have to be prepared for. You know, don't just come out of the draft and go, well, I'm a running back. Well, good for friggin' you. You think Deebo Samuel came out of college and said, well, I'm a freaking wide receiver and said, well, I'll never play running back. No, he stepped up and he completely has changed this thing the last couple of years. He's so dynamic back there. More guys have to try to do it.
Right. No, I agree. But the other thing here, boys, well, that's it for me. Nate, I know you got a lot of good topics. Trevor, you always have a good shit going with MLB. Nate, you go ahead and take over here, buddy. I didn't mean to take up 40 fucking minutes of the goddamn content. We need to do
It's all good.
I apologize.
We're DB, we're too close to football now.
I know.
We're too close to football now.
We're gonna do different segments.
We're all too excited. We're all too finicky now. We wanted to be here.
When the season starts, we'll more focus on NFL than NBA and MLB. No offense. I mean, we'll still leave the MLB, but sorry, Nick, go ahead. I don't want to take away.
It's all good.
Okay.
So, I'm going to start right off the bat. Just get Trevor pissed off right off the bat, and then he'll cool down the rest of the episode. Okay. So what's up with Jim Harden? Where's James Harden going? I keep hearing that Daryl Morey and him are pissed off at each other and their relationship is fractured and Jim Harden wants to go to the Clippers. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll somehow get Embiid and Harden to be buddy-buddy again? Do you think Harden's going to go to the Clippers? How many freaking stars do the Clippers need if he goes there? But where do you think he ends up? And what do you think of this whole situation with this Jim Harden guy?
Jim Harden.
I don't think any franchise wants him, Trevor. No offense to you.
Yeah. No, I don't want him either.
I mean, but the Knicks, he would be perfect for the Knicks.
The rumor is the Clippers now. That's the hot spot of where he's projected to go. Honestly, I don't know if we'll get PG out of that. Paul George, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that, but I don't know. It just feels like this organization is stuck because of the James Harden signing, and of course the Tobias signing, and we had to pay him. That was a given. We had to pay him. But it feels like no matter what we do, I can't really heighten my expectations from last season. Even if we trade James Harden for a PG, God forbid if we get Kawhi effing Leonard, that's not going to happen. That's a big far cry of that's my highest of hopes is what happens there. That's not going to happen though. The Sixers are stuck. No matter what they do, they're stuck, and they're really not going to do anything this upcoming season other than what they've been doing in the past several seasons. That is, win the first round convincingly, and then run into one of the elites in the East and lose in 6-7 games. I can't really heighten my expectations from that, no matter what they do, even if they make a blockbuster move with Mr. Jim Harden. I know Jim Harden's in about the same shape as he was with the Nets last offseason. He's got the belly back again. I've seen the Instagram photos.
He's going to Golden Corral and just fucking eating the shit out of the buffet.
Golden Corral. He's been to those fucking Chinese restaurants or whatever he's eating at the strip clubs. He's obviously not working it off.
He's going down to the fucking massage shop and getting a little massage down there too.
A little rub and tug,
Oh, happy ending bullshit.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing, he ain't working it off. But it's just a shame. A man of his talent just falters so much in the playoffs. It's sickening, and it's obviously sickening because I'm a fan of the team that he's on right now.
Right.
But yeah, honestly, I'd like to see him skip town. If you don't want to be there, I don't want you there. That's just the way it is. I want somebody that wants to actually be there and that is gonna, give me 110%, both in the off season and during the season. So I'd like to see him go. As much as I was excited when we got him, I realized, Nate, you warned me. You've warned me about several things with this Sixers team, and James Harden is one of them. So
he's burning bridges. He's going to run out of franchises here.
Yeah.
I'm just
get out of town. Go to the fucking Rockets again. I don't care. Get out of town.
They don't want him.
Oh God.
They don't want him.
I don't care. I don't care who wants him. I don't want him.
I don't want him. Doesn't want him.
I think Harden and D'Antoni are banned from the city limits of Houston.
Harden's not banned from the strip clubs. I can show you that.
Oh yeah, he's down there.
I can assure you that. I've heard he's a generous tipper.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I don't mean.
Let's get off of James Harden. I'm gonna be in more of a bad
Ben
mood.
Simmons, who? I didn't know who you were talking about.
Shut up. No.
We got Nate fired up with Marc Gasol.
No. My Ben Simmons is your Marc Gasol. Those are trigger words.
Yep. So Chris Paul with the Golden State Warriors. How do you think will be used? Starter, bench player, mix of both? Do you think this will be a good trade, bad trade? D'Angelo Russell trade ask for the Warriors, or do you think it'll work out differently? I just want to hear some thoughts from you guys.
Go ahead, DB. I've expressed enough.
I think he is. I think what they're trying to do, maybe have him come in and be like a role model. Maybe Nate. I mean, the guy's had success. He's never won a championship. I don't think Curry really needs a goddamn guy to have, shadow somebody. But yeah, I mean, I just think they're trying to do what they did with Haslam down in the Heat. He can actually still produce. I think Chris Paul, I still think he can ball out and give you at least 15, maybe 10 to 15, and maybe 5 or 6 assists, maybe more, close to a double-double. I think it'd be great for them. Change up the speed a little bit. I think him and Curry's a little faster, but their play style, it was run and go, baby. Like it wasn't. So I think I like it. I do. Trevor.
Yeah. It'll be a mix. It'll be mix. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits into that system. He is a very, very weird fit to that team. He's older. He's a little slower. I mean, he's 37, 38 years old. He's naturally going to be a little more easy paced. Yep. And the Warriors they're just going to be run and gun like they always are. But at the very, very, very least, he's going to be a phenomenal locker room presence for each and every one of those guys. He's going to be a team leader. And honestly, that's probably his best shot at winning a championship. If you couldn't hear that behind me, there's lightning and it's storming. It's storming.
I got a fucking light show behind me there. I got a light show.
I got her in front of me. But and anyway, CP3, love the guy. Never really had a bad thing to say about him. I really hope that he gets what he's looking for in Golden State. But it's going to be some growing pains in terms of where he's going to fit into the lineup. He might be the sixth man. He might be, I don't know, one of the starting guards. You never know.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see. Don't know what to think so far. Steve Kerr's found a way to be good with a lot of guards. D'Angelo Russell was good enough to get traded. I'll say that.
Yep. Yes.
Maybe that'll happen with Chris Paul. They'll use Chris Paul later in the season possibly and get the other pieces they need. They use him as a player to deal with the deadline if it doesn't work again. I don't know. It's very, very interesting that came to be. I really think he'll be the second unit guy. He'll play a little bit with the first unit, but I think he's your young guy leader. They have a lot of young guys on their team. Yes. I think that he'll definitely play a lot of pick and roll stuff with them and be their swing man and stuff. He's not like an elite dead red shooter. He's going to shoot okay, but that's not his game. You know what I mean? Like he's a kind of a get to his spot kind of guy and hit the pull up because he's 6 foot tall. He's like a Kyle Lowry. He's not that freaking slow and not obviously that wide, but like that's kind of his game. That's a 6-footer's game. You got to get to your spots, play the pick and roll, hit, make a few moves, sometimes hit the three. But yeah, we'll see how it works there. He doesn't fit the run and gun shooting perfectly, but he's what I think is spot starter, depth, and run the second unit as long as he buys into it, because he's kind of said, like, I expect to start. I expect to do this. Chris, you're 38, buddy. You're 6 foot tall. I'm not taking away from you. You're one of the best players of all time.
Right.
But it's the twilight here.
They can't do, and correct me if I'm wrong, they sometimes run ISO with Curry. Like they just let him do his own thing. I think they might have done it with Chris when he was on the Hornets. I don't think now coming in with that second unit, I don't think he can. I think he's just going to be more of a find the guys in their spots, get a couple shots up. I don't think he's going to fully, at 37, I'm not saying I was still impressed with him when he was on the Suns. I got to say that.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan of him. I really am. But.
Sticking with the Warriors, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole's dad. What a lovely tandem this has become here. This just won't go away. Jordan Poole and Draymond Green obviously get into a fight, pretty much one-sided, one action sided even.
One punch.
So, but Jordan Poole's dad's upset that his son's been traded and talked bad upon. Draymond apparently hasn't apologized enough to the Poole family, to their liking. Have you guys seen about that? What do you guys think of this? It's literally elementary to me.
He is the modern day Dennis Rodman. And the Poole family just needs to fucking, no offense to the Poole family. I love, family's a big thing, but listen, you gotta just probably let this one go because this guy's just a hothead. And I see a lot of myself in him. Now, I'm not saying I punched somebody in the face. I would apologize to the family, but I think it's, hey, Mom, this kid hit me at school. Let's grow the fuck up. What? Poole's like what, mid-20s now? Come on. You're fucking making $1 million. It happens. Steve Kerr got a fucking shiner from Jordan.
And
he was told to shut the fuck up and keep dribbling the ball. So, It's a different time period, so that's 30 years ago. But.
Yeah.
I swear we can't go a God blessed episode without DB bringing up Dennis Rodman at one point. Right?
No way.
I've learned that that's impossible.
And Ben and Rodman. I just sneak it in there. Everybody.
Yeah, you gotta sneak it in there. Anytime we talk about Draymond, anytime we talk about guys that can rebound and do nothing else, we talk about Dennis Rodman. Just right in there. Sneak it right in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Jordan Poole, Draymond Green.
Yep.
Childish as it gets.
Yes.
Really, it is. It really is. I don't whether it's just a way to stay at the top of the headlines in the NBA, whether it's the NBA having a slow media cycle right now due to MLB, NFL's coming up. One way or another, I don't know. I'm very, very surprised that Draymond Green and Jordan Poole never put this to bed. I'm very, very surprised. It seemed like they did. They played it off like they did for a long, long time, pretty much the entire regular season.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden in the off season again.
Shit.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, if you're a fan of the Kardashians or the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you'll probably like this drama. But otherwise, I honestly didn't even know about it until you mentioned it. It just seems it's childish. It's childish. It's like watching The Bachelor. It's childish.
Here's the other thing, though. Everybody, you guys have been on teams. I'll tell you, when I was on a team, somebody fucked up, or there were skirmishes, there was fights, there was shit talking. That kind of comes, that comes with the territory. You know what I mean? And maybe because they're NBA players, I don't know. I think it's slow. Like I told you guys, 3 weeks ago, there was I forget what story it was about. I'm like, the news is very slow. You're just trying to start some shit, and that's whatever. Bullshit. What, Trevor? What was that quote that Eric or Cole loved that you said?
Oh, it don't make sense. It makes dollars.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite sayings, and it applies to so many freaking situations. It's not even funny.
Yep.
Not just sports either.
We're gonna get that on.
We talk offline.
We're gonna get that on our shirt. But sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the NBA news that I had. I have a lot of loose end things that I wanted to kind of throw in. Just wanted to give a shout out to Carlos Alcaraz, who beat Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon finals. It's his second ever major at 20 years old. So this guy might be next, with Novak not getting any younger, Federer retiring, Nadal being pretty old. This might be Carlos Alcaraz might be next. And to beat Djokovic in the finals in 5 sets and outlast him, pretty impressive stuff at 20 years old. I think this guy could be next. He's already been a world number 1 before in 2022. So pretty good stuff there. But even more so yet on the women's side, Marketa Vondrousova, only 24 years old, ranked 42nd in the world. She was the lowest rated World Tennis Association woman to ever win a major. So pretty impressive stuff. Had a pretty good last couple of years. She won a silver medal for her country in the Olympics. But what do you guys think? Like, you win silver in the Olympics, you're 42nd in the world, and you win. Was this girl underrated? Like, coming in? I mean, that just seems kind of crazy to me that she's 24. She's been to a French Open final in 2019, and she has a silver medal, and she's ranked 42nd. Like, that just seems low. I'm not a tennis expert, but doesn't that seem kind of low?
Yeah.
Silver. I mean, if you're fucking gold, silver, bronze in the Olympics, you're pretty fucking good. I don't think you're 42nd.
Right.
That's kind of like, I don't even know what the fuck. That's like, I don't even know what to compare it to, because tennis, I'm not really. I just 42nd. That's kind of pissing me off for her. I don't even know of her. That's pissing me off. Like I represented my country and got second, and you fuckers give me 42nd.
Right.
I concur with you there, Drew. And before I go on about this, just one point on Nadal. Until Nadal is dead and buried, I will take no one else to win on clay.
Yeah.
I'm just
right.
saying that. I'm just
Damn
saying
right.
that. I don't care if he's 80 and he's strolling up to clay. He's winning the thing.
Damn right.
He's winning the event, whatever it is. But anyway, what'd you say? Silver medal? Silver medal. 42nd in the world. My God. How old?
24.
24 years old. A silver medal for your country. Ranked 42nd in the world. I'm not. I'm an accountant. I'm a good math guy. That's not adding up.
No.
That's not adding up at all. I
wow.
tell you, my grandfather would be great in this conversation. He watches more tennis than any man I know.
Come on, Trevor.
He doesn't have a computer, man. What do you want me to do?
We'll put him right next to you, right here. We'll have four guys going right now.
You want me to have him drive
tennis.
the 2 hours to Pittsburgh? I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll talk tennis for 3 hours because he'll talk tennis for 3 hours.
I'm marking that. We'll talk. We'll schedule. I like that.
I guess the viewers are going to meet my grandfather, the guy that I've named after. You're gonna meet my grandfather.
It would be an honor.
Yeah, maybe. Right. We'll see. I'll check his calendar. I'll see what's available for him.
Putting you on blast live.
Yeah. If he ever sees this, Daryl, get on the podcast, buddy. Get on the podcast. Let's talk tennis, okay?
All right.
Let's talk tennis. Let's talk Serena. Let's talk Venus. Let's talk Nadal, Federer. Let's talk all that shit. He'll talk it. Anyway, 42nd in the world, silver medal. Bump her up a little bit, will you?
Yeah.
Just a tad. Just maybe 20 or 25 spots.
Yeah. She's got a French Open runner-up in 2019 when she was 20.
Yeah.
I don't know much about tennis.
Yeah.
But I'm going to interject here why I think it's possible. I don't know the injury. I don't know if she was injured and stuff. I don't know that.
Yeah. Could be.
So maybe I'm wrong, out of line by even saying this, but what I personally think is the World Tennis Association. I know it's obviously World Tennis Association, but there's definitely more influence in the United Kingdom, France, and Western Europe and the United States than there is in the Czech Republic where she's from. So there's probably bias coming into these rankings is what I would assume. And yeah, that's what I would think a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I would assume.
We got two questions. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're not wrong. That's kind of the way golf goes sometimes too. A lot of the U.S. European guys get favored over, some of those Asian players.
Yeah.
We got two questions, Nate. I don't want to hijack your fucking segment here, but we got two questions from the comments. The first one is, what do you guys think about LeBron James? Nate?
The GOAT.
Okay.
He's literally the greatest basketball player ever.
Okay.
What can he do? Okay. Been to the finals 10 times, won 4 of them. Took the poverty Cavs to the finals, won one with the Lakers, won 2 with the Heat. Greatest scorer that's not a scorer of all time. I mean, where's he going to end up on all this list, man? It's crazy.
Yeah. Trevor?
Runner up to the GOAT.
Oh, come on, man.
Runner up to the GOAT.
Well, he's third.
This is Nate. This is one of the few things you and I will never agree on.
No.
We'll take this to our graves.
No, he won't, because he's just going to keep getting better, and Michael Jordan's not playing.
If he wins 6 titles, I'll admit it. How's that sound?
You better not fucking tie Kobe or pass him. I swear to God.
I think he might tie him, man.
If he ties him, on God, if he ties him, I'll admit it.
He'll be 39 when he wins that thing, or 40 or however old.
If he ties Jordan, I'll admit it.
These guys. So this other guy throws in right after that question: LeBron or Jordan? We're kind of already into it.
Yeah.
Well, you know who I'm picking.
You're picking LeBron. Okay.
Yep.
I use this argument all the time. So say you slide in someone's DMs, right? She's a 10. Okay, she's a 10. You got 10 attempts at her, right? And she says yes 4 times.
Okay.
That's all cool. That's all well and good. You got it 4 times. I take that any day of the week. But you slide in her DMs 6 times and you get it all 6 times. I'll take that success rate. That's a little confidence booster right there. If you can score that 6 out of 6 times, you can score anything. That's the argument I will use until the day I die.
I'll take one playoff win without Scottie Pippen in his career, though. Just saying.
Whoa, Nate is coming with heavy fucking punches.
LeBron got to the finals with a bunch of scallywags, man, when he was like 22.
Let's be real here, Nate. Let's be real here. If Jordan doesn't take that first retirement, this isn't even a debate. If Jordan doesn't take that first retirement for reasons that we've already alluded to on this show, whether it was gambling, whether it was his dad, whether it was a combination of both, it isn't even a debate.
You don't know, though, because things could have played out differently. They could have changed free agency. The Rockets were still really freaking good. I understand what you're saying. Like they could have won 8 in a row, maybe, but there would have been something that broke them up. There's so many egos there. I mean, look at Scotty and Michael Jordan getting into all.
Cross would have broke him up no matter what. And I resent him for that.
Yeah,
I resent him for that.
Right.
That fat bastard.
Easy. Anyway, say any more questions or anything else you want to talk about, get a hold of me on social media platform. Okay. Nate, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Speaking of Rodman,
yep.
His daughter is playing in the Women's World Cup here starting tomorrow.
Nice.
Making her own one of the youngest players on the team. I think she's only 21 years old. Obviously, Trinity's her name. So, obviously really cool, really good genetics there in the family, I would assume. The Rodman family, pretty good at the athletics thing. But the U.S. women's national team, they're obviously favored to win this thing again. They got some aging stars, Alex Morgan, Rapinoe, but then they have folks like Trinity Rodman, who's coming up that are supposed to be a huge in production. Kind of feel bad for the Vietnamese tomorrow night. Think that they're going to be in for an awakening of what elite soccer looks like on the women's side. We also have the Netherlands and Portugal in our group. But do you guys think there's any chance that the U.S. women blow this thing? Do you think there's any chance that they don't win? Because this is a different looking team than it has been the last 2 times. They had a pretty good core there for about 8 to 10 years. This is a different team, though. They have a couple aging stars, some new young gun girls here that are also very talented. But is there anybody that can take these girls out, these women out? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I always hold the U.S. to high standard.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't mean to tie it back into basketball. Dream Team really, I think, broke it open for American sports. Your predecessor, you guys are the shit. You're prestigious, organizations within the fucking country. You know what? If they blow it, I think anytime the U.S. lose in any international or in the Olympic play, they're fucking outcasted. I'm just gonna you're ostracized. You're a piece of shit. You guys should have fucking. I don't know. I hope they don't win. I hope they do. Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. That's American people.
No, I know it's soccer. Soccer is not nearly as big a sport in the U.S. as it is elsewhere.
Right.
But the United States produces as good a team as any on the global stage.
Right.
Is there any chance that the U.S. gets knocked off? Absolutely. I think England has a shot. I think Germany has a shot. Hell, I think France has a shot to knock them off. Does the U.S. women's national team get knocked off? I apologize to all of those country artists that have backed America over the years and preached American pride. I think they get knocked off.
Ooh.
I think they get knocked off. I think France makes a run.
Oh.
I think France makes a run. And I'm
Safe-
just going to leave it at that.
Safe pick with any of those Western European countries. They're all very good in their own right.
Yes.
To put it into perspective, EA Sports has predicted the last, I believe, six World Cups correctly on the men's side. So they picked the champion right. They picked Argentina. They got that right. I think they've picked a few others correct. EA Sports has the U.S. women's national team winning. And honestly, I didn't agree with it. I really didn't think that they would have enough. I just think there's a lot of distractions, a lot of new pieces, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But after I won a bracket challenge in the World Cup for the men's side using the EA Sports bracket, I am going to pick the U.S. because that's what EA Sports says. So I'm gonna go with it till that luck and that train runs out.
USA, USA, USA. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to say. Some of the odds: USA plus 260, England plus 450, Spain plus 450, Germany plus 800, Australia plus 1,000. In Australia, New Zealand are hosting this thing, by the way. So obviously, New Zealand and Australia are going to have huge fan bases there. They're going to be amongst the favorites just because they're hosting. All that good stuff. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it'll be a good tournament. But I certainly feel bad for the Vietnamese tomorrow because I don't think they're going to like that game very much.
No.
Last thing, I always wanted to talk about this.
That's
It's the last thing, I swear.
You take your time, Nate. You guys take your time. Do whatever you need to do.
The greatest male athlete and the greatest female athlete of all time. I'm sure that you guys have thought about this. You've probably seen some stuff on socials about it. There's a lot of names you can throw in there. I don't think anybody's necessarily wrong. I want to know who you guys think. I have prepared my two and some of the statistics and reasons why I think these are the two greatest athletes of all time, male and female. But wanted to hear from you guys. There's a lot of popular answers, but I think the women's side is going to be maybe unknown to some of the viewers and maybe even to you guys.
You're going to have to – I got to learn how to pronounce one of the guys' names. Hold on a minute. Fuck.
Well, I'll start, Nate. I'll start with my female athlete, Serena Williams. Serena Williams. I think that's a no-brainer for me. God knows how many Grand Slam titles. She's dominated her sport for a long, long, long time. Hell, she dominated her sport when she was pregnant with a baby.
Right.
No man can say that.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Just saying. That's science. No man can say that. So, yeah, female, Serena. Male, I hate to say it because he's tortured me for so many years and tortured us Steelers fans for so many years.
Oh, don't you
I'm
do
Brady.
that, Trevor. Oh,
I just did it. I did it. I'm sorry.
all sports.
It's-
Trevor, all sports. We didn't have to do.
All sports. It is Tom Brady.
Oh, my God.
I hate
still
to
love you.
say it. I know it pained me to say that. It about gave me a heart palpitation to say that.
Oh, God.
The statistics speak for themselves. Won more than anybody else in NFL history. He's passed for more yards, more touchdowns than anyone in NFL history. It's a no-brainer to me. And you know my opinions of football. Football being the toughest sport there is out there and the greatest sport that God ever created. Tom Brady's the GOAT at it. He's my pick.
Well,
What do you think, DB?
I'm a big. I'm going to have to go with a runner on this. I would definitely have to say Hussein Bolt, or Phelps. Just pure dominance on an international stage, not just in America. They're facing all walks of life. Women wise, that's fucking tough, Nate. That is very tough for me. Serena's up there. Mia Hamm. But yeah, no, I have to go with. I mean, I'm just a fucking psycho too. He's not the greatest athlete of all time, but he's very instrumental. Nate, you know this. Steve Prefontaine, I think, is one of the best athletes as well. But his times now aren't equated to anything. So I'd say Usain Bolt or Serena Williams. I think those two. Yeah,
Right.
And Phelps. Yeah.
Someone on the women's side that I don't think is quite the best athlete of all time, but she's pretty dang close to up there, is Simone Biles.
Mm.
If you have moves named after you in the sport of gymnastics, you're doing something pretty good. They judge her on her own category because she's so talented. I also think one thing that has nothing to do with her athleticism or anything. I just find Simone Biles to be a very classy human. I think she's a very kind soul. She's dealt with some very hard things in her life. She's moved around, homeschooled, lived with her grandparents, all kinds of stuff. She dealt with this 2021 people on social media attacking her, saying she's a failure and all this stuff. It's like, okay, you go do that then, couch potato on your freaking phone at 3 a.m. Go out and do it then. You know what I mean? Like, good luck. You're going to break your freaking neck.
Yep.
Like, I couldn't stand that for that girl. That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. She spent years of her life getting there. She's won gold medals. She's won all kinds of medals. She's won world championships. I mean, goodness gracious, she's done all of it. She's the greatest gymnast of all time for sure.
Oh,
and now she's obviously one of the greatest athletes of all time. So hopefully we'll get to see her next year. I don't know what the likelihood of that is. She is back competing, which is great. She recently got married. But that's one that makes sense on that side. Some of the other candidates on the men's side, obviously, Bo Jackson, wasn't longevity, but he played 3 sports in the SEC: track, baseball, and football.
Yeah.
All-star in baseball, Pro Bowler in football. Played for the Los Angeles Rays. Pretty good. Pretty built, jacked athlete. Cannon arm, could run like a deer. Could sprint like crazy. I mean, unofficially ran like a 4.2, 4.1 something 40. That was 40 years ago, 30 years ago,
right.
Probably 40 years ago.
Yep.
So that's a good one. Deion Sanders, as much as some people don't care for him and his mouth,
yep.
I actually think Deion's an incredible athlete. One of the greatest return men of all time, one of the greatest defensive backs of all time. Pretty stinking good baseball player. Pretty much if he had power, I think he would be even higher. He didn't have any power. But he is I think he's the only athlete of all time to score an NFL touchdown and hit a home run in the same week.
Wow.
So that's pretty special company considering it's just him. Pretty lonely in that category. And I think will be for a long time.
Nate, I think the only guy to have a stolen base and a sack in the same week as well.
So that's another pretty,
Yeah, you could go down the list. So.
Right. Exactly. But those are not my picks.
Oh.
My pick is Jim Thorpe.
Yep.
Everybody forgets about him, man. I know it's over 100 years ago, but we can't forget about Jim Thorpe. No question about it. First Native American in history to win a gold medal, and he won 2 of them. He didn't just win the pentathlon; he also won the decathlon in the 1912 Olympics. So that's pretty good. But that's just kind of like scratching the surface. And when you're just scratching the surface with gold medals in the same Olympics, pretty special.
Right.
So he played football collegially at Carlisle College, where he also did track. Ironically, he played for a guy that you may have heard of before. You just don't know it. He played for a guy by the name of Pop Warner.
Wow.
Pop Warner football.
Yep.
That was his coach at Carlisle College. And crazy enough, Pop Warner was a big football guy, had success all around the country in the late 1800s into the, 1900s there. he did not want Jim Thorpe to play football because Jim Thorpe was so talented at track and field that he was afraid he would get hurt. Because not only did Pop Warner coach football, he also coached track. And Pop Warner had no prior coaching experience in track before he got to Carlisle College.
That's crazy.
So he also was the athletic director while Jim Thorpe was at Carlisle College. So pretty ironic that all happened.
Wow.
A lot of
He was
history.
damn good. He was damn good in track, Nate.
Right.
Damn good for that time period.
Pretty special that he almost didn't even play college football because his coach was afraid he'd get hurt. Jim Thorpe would go on to beat Stanford. He would go on to help them win a national championship. He'd go on to be drafted in the NFL. He'd go on to coach as an assistant coach and head coach in the NFL. But he also played professional baseball. He also played professional basketball. He was also a collegiate ballroom dancing champion. And he almost signed a contract in 1913 to play professional hockey in Toronto, Canada, which is like the mecca of hockey.
Right. He's a fucking globetrotter, dude. He fucking
Right.
yeah.
The guy was incredible. He played professional football till he was 41 years old.
Yep.
And Pop Warner said he didn't even think he would last through college because he didn't think he was big enough. The dude rushed for almost 2,000 yards in a season while also being a track and field athlete. I mean, this guy was incredible. He was unfreaking believable.
And
He scored 25 touchdowns and accounted for 198 points in 1912 with Carlisle. Just an incredible athlete that nobody can even think about. He played 4 sports professionally. He was also a ballroom champion in college. He was a 2-time gold medalist in the 2 hardest events in the Olympics, arguably, especially in track, not even a question.
Yeah.
This guy's the GOAT to me.
yeah. No, Nate, I love that you brought him up. I was thinking him. We're definitely going to cut this for the promo here because not a lot of people even know about him.
Right.
I knew of him because of Weech. I mean, he's like, the Jim Thorpe's the fucking man. You know what I mean? But Trevor, what do you think? Did you know all that, Trevor? It's okay if you
There's
didn't.
there's not many times I'm left without words.
The guy was
This
a
is
freak.
one of those times.
Freak. No pre-workout, no fucking, all that science. The guy was
Yeah,
a
you
fucking
didn't
animal.
have no fucking steroids, no pre-workout, no vitamins, supplements, nothing like 4 sports professionally.
The dietitian. There was no fucking dietitian.
And he could have played.
No dietitians, no trainer. Well, there's probably trainers, but not to the level that we have
No.
today. My God,
No. But,
Ah,
pretty fucking
I'm
amazing.
speechless. I'm speechless. That's
Yeah.
great pull.
Great.
Great fucking pull, Nate.
Pretty special. Pretty special.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the other factor is, I hate to even say it, he was a Native American, so obviously the dude he was getting hated on through this whole thing.
Yeah.
He had a lot of support, I'm sure, but also you got hate from all these people around the country, around the world that didn't even know what like Native Americans were. They were calling them Indians back then still.
Right.
Like that's
It's a factor.
right. That's just the guys, that's I still have the woman's side. I never have heard of this woman. I was looking through some research. I'm like, who really is? Obviously Serena, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm's a good one too. There's a few others that have been phenomenal, but I think the greatest athlete of all time is Mildred Ella Babe Didrikson Zaharias. So I know it's a mouthful, but just let me explain what this woman did, and you'll be speechless, I think. Maybe even more speechless than listening to what Jim Thorpe did.
Right.
It's truly incredible. So she was an amazing athlete. She was a 2-time gold medalist in track and field in the 1932 Summer Olympics before turning professionally to play golf. She was one of the first women to be on the LPGA Tour.
Okay.
So she won gold in the 80-meter hurdles in the high jump in the 32 Olympics and also got a silver in high jump. So like those events are all kind of related, but like also not. Like not everybody can just do all those.
Yeah.
Pretty special. She also played professional baseball, not in the women's league. She played in some spring training games. She pitched in 3 spring training games for the Philadelphia Athletics, and she had good success. She played pretty well.
Holy shit.
I probably a little publicity, but she also did pretty well.
Yeah.
She also played amateur basketball at various points in her life. She probably would have played professional basketball if there was such thing as women's professional basketball back in the 30s through the 40s, for sure. So also, she never golfed before 1938. So 1932, she was an Olympian. In between there, she was pitching for the Athletics in the spring training. Then she was an amateur basketball player. 1932, she's bored. She wants to know what's next in life. She starts picking up golf. By the 1940s and into the 1950s, she won 10 majors. She won 48 professional matches. 41 of those on tour, 7 on other, professional courses.
Wow.
It gets more impressive, though. She won a U.S. Women's Open Championship 1 month after cancer surgery for colon cancer, which is like one of the craziest cancers you can have. Not that all cancer is not bad, but colon cancer is like one of the worst you can freaking have. It's horrible.
At that time, definitely. Holy shit.
She won the U.S. Women's Open wearing a colostomy bag during that competition. 1 month.
Shit.
1 month after surgery. She also then relapsed with cancer. She won her 2 last professional tournaments in 1956 while having cancer. And she died the next year in 1957. She was only 45 years old. So to recap, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist, amateur basketball player, professional baseball player briefly, 48 professional golf wins, but never golfed until 1938. But by the end of the mid-50s, she had 48 professional golf wins, including 10 majors. Obviously in various Hall of Fames, one of the pioneers for women's golf, the LPGA Tour, and all that good stuff. So her name, Mildred Ella Babe Didrikson Zaharias, the greatest women's athlete of all time.
Jesus. Shit. I don't know what I've never heard that, Nate. It's very fucking cool. That's impressive as shit.
Yeah.
If any athlete out there complains about, oh, I got a bellyache. Well, this woman had fucking cancer. She had a bag on her while she's fucking teeing up. That's cool.
And she won. And then she relapsed and she won 2 more in her last 2 competitions. She won her last 2 of them. Unbelievable. And she was 44 years old, winning it.
That's impressive as shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. That
Yeah.
is.
God.
I'm happy you fucking shared that. I think everybody can appreciate the silence right now. We're kind of just trying to soak that all in.
Right.
Oh boy. But
2 of the greatest athletes
that's pretty fucking
are not household name. I mean, Jim Thorpe might be. There's Jim Thorpe PA in our state. There's Jim Thorpe museums. There's Jim Thorpe books, all that. But like nobody knows. Not many folks know Mildred Ella Babe Didrikson Zaharias. Nobody, they don't know her, who she is. So give her flowers, y'all. She's pretty good.
I appreciate that. No, that was fucking
God almighty.
But anything else, Nate?
No, I think that's a pretty good note to end
Yeah, I
on.
think that's a hell. I was gonna say I don't think you need to follow that up with. Holy shit, Trevor! What do we got, buddy? I know that's a tough follow up.
I was gonna say, one part of my brain was thinking during that little spiel that Nate was given, and I degraded that by calling it a little spiel. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Nathan. It made me shed a tear. Part of me's thinking, wow, this is an incredible story. Part of me's thinking, shit, I gotta follow this.
Oh, you're doing fine. You know that.
Yeah. No, I'll run through what I got here fairly quickly.
No.
News broke today. My favorite commissioner of all time,
Yeah.
Mr. Robert Manfred, is expected to be reelected to another 5-year term this upcoming week as
Yippee.
the commissioner of Major League Baseball. That would take him through till January of 2030. Bear in mind, I would be damn near 32 by that point, and I don't know if my heart can take that dude being commissioner for another 5 years with the litany of atrocities that he has committed. But I wanted to highlight one of them, and I know I'm beating a dead horse. 2017, Houston Astros win a World Series.
Yep.
Cool. All is well with the world. It comes out that they're beating trash cans in the dugout. And it's well known, proven, guilty as charged are the Astros, as they should have been. What does Rob Manfred do? Not a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. Rob Manfred did more to, and you guys will remember this name. You remember Joe Kelly?
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember Joe Kelly that threw at the Astros and made this little face toward the Astros? I'm going to see if I can do an impression of this.
Yep.
Something like that. To the Astros. He got suspended 8 games, which is 8 games more than any of the Astros got suspended.
Yep. Instead, Trevor,
We have to deal
Remember,
with it.
instead,
Wait, I'm not finished.
no, but
I'm not
there's
finished.
things you're not going to bring up. I want to say real quick. Instead,
Go.
balance. They literally punished Alex Cora with Boston, and they said, Carlos Beltran, because you played, you can't manage an MLB. So they gave him scapegoats that weren't even with the team. Instead, all the players got off scot-free. I don't think you were going to say that. So don't we can't forget about that.
No, I was only going to bring up the Joe Kelly thing because it became a meme for the better part of 2 months, and it was fucking hilarious. But yes, we have 5 more years of Manfred to deal with. Granted, he did a lot of good stuff this past year with the rule changes, speeding up the game and so forth, making it a little more watchable. I will say this is probably the most baseball that I've watched in the last decade.
Yep.
Bear in mind, I'm only 25 years old. So they've done a lot of good things this year, but a lot of the stuff that he's done before and just the slow pace that the MLB has taken to adapting to modern society and the modern fan under Manfred has been, for the most part, atrocious, and we have to deal with 5 more years of it. Apologies for the downer off of that. But I do have a feel-good one, and I'll jump right into that. A man by the name of, I want to make sure I get his name right here, Alex Spees. I want to talk about him for a little bit. He's a relief pitcher for the Texas Rangers. He made his debut on Wednesday night.
Okay.
And this guy, he struggled through the minors. He got drafted, I believe, in 2016. He was a second-round selection by the Rangers. He struggled through the minors for a long time. And with COVID and him building a family, he had a daughter. His mental health just couldn't take it anymore. He semi-retired at the end of 2021. He took 2022 off. Took that off.
Jeez.
And so this past year, he came back and just ran through the minors.
Holy.
In AA Frisco, Texas, and AAA Round Rock for the Texas minor league affiliates, this guy, Alex Spees, as a relief pitcher, posted a 1 ERA.
Wow.
1.00
Wow.
ERA, averaging, listen to this number, 14.8 strikeouts per 9.
Ew.
14.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. That is absolutely disgusting.
Ew.
And he only gave up 1 singular home run.
Holy man.
One
That's pretty
single
goddamn
home run.
impressive. Damn.
And so he came back. He got called up to the MLB, and he made his debut on Wednesday in 1 2/3 shutout innings against the Tampa Bay Rays. And he actually struck out Wander Franco.
Wow.
That's
of all
fucking
people.
dope.
Wow.
Of all people. And I neglected to mention this too. This guy had Tommy John in 2018. So he had Tommy John. He had a daughter in 2019 he had to support, and then obviously COVID the next season
Right.
Wow.
took a little bit
like
of a
that.
toll on his mental health.
I like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. For him. That's awesome.
He's awesome. Bruce Bochy said of him, and I quote in an article from MLB.com, "I'm just now getting to know him, but I think taking some time off did a lot for his perspective on the game.
Yeah.
The game, it's not everything, and that's true for all sports." This is me interjecting. That's true for all sports. Sports is not everything.
Right.
Going back to Bochy, it's not your sense of significance, so he just seems like he's in a really good place. I told him when he came there, this is what you came back for, kid. Have some fun with it.
Right.
And bear in mind, too, this guy was coaching Little League for the entirety of 2022.
Oh, my God.
This is
This
fucking
year.
something, dude.
Crazy.
So running through the timeline again, drafted in 2016, second round, relief pitcher. 2018 has Tommy John. 2019 has a daughter, has a family to support, all that good stuff, and struggling in the minor leagues with, Cole's talked about it on this show before. It's a struggle,
Yeah.
both financially, mentally. And then pandemic, 2020, 2021. In 2021, he decided hang it up. And then 2022, he takes the year off, coaches Little League, comes back, and has a stellar outing and is looking to be a cornerstone for the Rangers bullpen, which they desperately need at this point.
Yeah. He couldn't have came back with a better team because they stink out loud in the bullpen department. My gosh.
They do. But yeah, Alex Spies, props to you, my guy, and props to you for getting your mental health in order. I'm a big advocate for that. Got to take care of your brain before you can take care of everything else.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and to come back the way he did, pretty incredible. I'll share the article with you guys. There's a little bit more to the story. I kind of gave you some snippets, but
That's all right. Yeah.
pretty incredible what that guy was able to overcome. A couple other things I wanted to talk about. We had our first trade of the season. The Baltimore Orioles acquired right-hander Shintaro Fujinami from the Oakland Athletics in exchange for a minor league left-hander. This kind of marks the first of the major trades that we've seen in this cycle. And what I wanted to talk about with this is the transition more so from Japanese baseball to MLB, to American baseball, more so than the actual trade itself. Because once I dug into this, I kind of took a deep dive into how these guys transitioned from Japan over into the MLB. So I figured out you need to be 25 years old or have 9 years of pro experience in what's called the Nippon Professional Baseball League. That's Japan's highest professional baseball league. Okay. In order to go through the posting system, in order to get to play American ball. And I wanted to talk about one guy that we saw in the World Baseball Classic, Roki Sasaki, one of the pitchers for Japan, who was quite the standout. And once I looked this guy up, I was even more impressed.
Yep.
So this guy, for starters, has a win-loss percentage in the 700s. You know how impossible that is for a pitcher?
Damn near.
You know how impossible that is for a pitcher? Damn near impossible. Damn near impossible for this guy. But anyway, in his 3 seasons in the NPB, he has a .714 win percentage. He has a 1.82 ERA, You heard that right? 1.82. 1.82. 1.82.
Damn.
He's only giving up less than half a home run per 9 innings, and he's only walking about 2 guys per 9 innings. He's got about 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Jeez.
This guy is absolutely insane. And just some of the statistics in a game against Mexico, I believe it was the World Baseball Classic semifinal game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what it was. MLB.com broke down his pitches, okay? So in that game, he had an average fastball velocity of 100.5 miles an hour. This guy's a starter. 100.5 miles an hour. 26 times he hit triple digits with his fastball in that game. 26.
Oh,
Fucking animal, dude.
In that same game, and this is his best pitch, is his splitter. He's got a 92 mile per hour splitter, and it averaged about 20 to 25 inches of break, at most 30 inches of drop. 30! That's 2.5 feet of drop on a splitter.
oh,
Jesus.
oh my God.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. And then it just for shits and giggles, he's got an 89 mile per hour slider that averages about 20 inches of break.
Jeez.
So unfortunately, with the way his contract is with Chiba Lotte, his current club over in Japan, we're likely not going to see him until 2027 when he becomes an international free agent. But my God, I might start watching Japanese baseball because of this guy.
Yeah.
A
They gotta
30-inch
change.
drop on a splitter.
Damn.
I'm aware that they do, because even if you go through the posting system, the fees are just absolutely ridiculous. It's a certain percentage of whatever the guy's contract is. I forget exactly what the tiers are, but it just gets more expensive and more expensive as you go along. I believe it's the way Shohei Ohtani got over here too. It's the way guys like Hideki Matsui got over here. The way guys like what's his name?
Ichiro?
Played for the Red Sox. Daisuke Matsuzaka. Ichiro as well. Ichiro was restricted by that. Here's the funny thing about Ichiro. He played 9 years of Japanese baseball. He still managed to get 3,000 hits in the MLB, starting in his age 27 season.
Yeah.
Fucking impressive.
Bear in mind, Nate, you're almost 27.
Yep.
If you start an MLB right now, you know how many hits you get? Probably not a lot. You know how many hits Ichiro got? Like 3,100.
He's got the most hits of all time in professional baseball history.
Yeah.
More than Pete Rose.
Yeah. People call Pete Rose the hit king. In MLB, yes. Of all time, international baseball, Ichiro, every damn day. Slap hitter. Could hit to all fields.
Wasn't even left-handed.
Oh, he was a natural righty, and he batted left-handed for shits and giggles.
Yep. Because he'd smack
That's
it
how
in
ridiculous he was.
the ground, and
Yeah. I believe in an interview, someone asked him, "Why do you bat left-handed when you're a natural righty?" He's like,
it's
shits and giggles. I don't know.
about 6 feet. It gives you about 6 feet to get on base faster. Plus, he would start running as he hit, so he'd be down the line as it hit the bat.
Yeah, a lot of his hits wouldn't even go out of the infield.
Nope.
You're right. But anyway, this Sasaki guy, 2027, look out. If he keeps up these numbers, absolutely. I still can't get over that ERA, 1.82.
That's fucking crazy.
As a starter,
92 mile per hour splitter with 30 inches of break. You're throwing it 60 feet 6 inches. You're throwing it 92 miles an hour, and it's breaking nearly 3 feet. How you supposed to hit it? If you can even touch it, how are you supposed to hit it?
I don't know. Be like Richie from Bench Warmers. Just try and tick it.
Yeah, just stick the bat out and be like, hope it frickin' hits.
Bunt. I don't know. Bunt.
Grab it with two hands and
Oh.
just push it. Yeah. Punch the
And
ball.
the thing is, he does all that with only those 3 pitches.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
That is all you need. That is all you need. All right. Anyway, yeah. Kind of another thing to track here. Some of the free agents that are going to be out there, and Nate, you and I have talked about this guy at length. We've basically said he's played himself out of a large deal. Tim Anderson.
Yep.
He's pretty piss poor this year. He's got the lowest WAR in the game, -1.6, and I believe it still stands that Zach Greinke has hit a home run last before Tim Anderson.
wow.
Yeah, so he's essentially played himself out of a contract. And talk about a guy with a lot of potential. Cody Bellinger is going to be out there, unless he's had a bit of a resurgence, but nothing to warrant a huge deal. So, hopefully for him that he can.
Going to be bigger than this Cubs contract, I think, especially if he gets traded.
It will.
If he gets traded to a contender and hits like crazy, it's going to be higher.
Yeah, no, he's doing good right now. He's in 305 in about 62 games with the Cubs. So he's doing okay. He's got 12 home runs. So he's doing all right. Another guy from the St. Louis Cardinals, Jack Flaherty, had a rough season, but in his last 10 starts, a 3.03 ERA. So hopefully that'll boost his free agent or perhaps trade candidacy as the Cardinals look to rebuild. Andrew Heaney, a starting pitcher from Texas, another one of those guys from Texas that has kind of struggled, and he's got a lot of money on the books. But I don't know. We'll kind of see how it works out for him. He's owed $13 million next year, and then that could jump to $20 million with incentives.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then a guy that unfortunately has kind of fallen off, Aaron Nola.
Oh.
Yeah, he had a ERA under 3.5 from 2018 to 2022. This year he's got a 4.39 ERA over 119 innings, and his worst strikeout rate since 2015. So he's a free agent coming up this year. So we'll kind of see where he ends up. And keeping going with the starting pitchers, Luis Severino with the New York Yankees. He's had a lot of injury history lately, especially lately with a right lat strain. He's only got 10 starts on the season, and he's already approaching age 30. So,
damn.
And then this might be the most wild card of them all. Reds legend, if you will, Joey Votto.
Yep.
He's going to be on the market this year. He's hitting .221. He's got 7 home runs, and he's slugging .574. With a 911 OPS over his last 21 games. So obviously strengthening his candidacy a little bit, but with the Reds youth movement, he might get lost in the shuffle, and he either might retire or he might just become a free agent, play out whatever he has left in him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that guy has tortured Pirates fans for a long time, so if he leaves Cincinnati, good riddance.
Yes.
But props to him, though. One of the best first basemen I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I will say that for sure. And his longevity is kind of pretty amazing when you think about it. He's 39 years old.
I believe he didn't pop up to first base in a game until last year.
Like ever?
In his whole MLB career, check me on that. I believe he did not have a P3 until like last year. I'm pretty sure.
It's like fucking hands. You see that? You see how quick he typed right there?
Yeah, he's like a cat on a keyboard, man.
Jesus Christ.
I Googled when did Joey Votto have a P3, and that might not have been the phrase to Google, but I will look that up later and I'll verify it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
Live on this show, but yeah, another guy that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
That's all I had for MLB talk, fellas.
It was 2019 he did it for the first time.
Okay.
So a few years after that.
For the first time ever, he popped out to first base.
Sorry. He popped out to first base for the first time in 2019. He popped out to the pitcher for the first time in 2022.
God damn.
All right.
That's freaking both are nuts.
That's fucking, yeah.
It's nuts. That means he's getting that good a contact on the ball that many freaking times. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. God damn.
Like I said, he's still slugging just a shade under 600. So,
but
39 years old.
It was
almighty.
It was a goddamn pleasure as always, fellas. Anything else, Trevor, Nate?
Not for me. This is a long-winded episode.
I loved it, though. I loved it.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Trevor, you got anything else, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. Well, I will say this: long shot, Ohtani to the Mariners.
I was just telling my friend Jeff, who works for Erie Times News. Shout out to Jeff, great baseball. I said that's the only wild card team that I could see him going to, other than the LA or New York markets, because they have a very storied history with Asian Americans in general. And then you throw in the Ichiro factor and how he was treated and stuff. That's the only other team I could see him. And they're actually pretty good. So, like, it's not like you would possibly win, too.
They're good. They can make a run, and they have a recent history of just giving a boatload of money to one guy, a la Robinson Cano, Felix Hernandez, and not that he didn't deserve it, Ichiro.
And Sean Figgins. They gave a crap ton of money to Sean Figgins. He didn't even spell Sean with an S. C. Don't forget Sean Figgins too, bud.
Jesus Christ.
C-O-N-E, Sean. Just how I'd spell it.
Right. God. Jesus. But no, fellas, it's always a goddamn pleasure as always. I want to apologize to the listeners, to Christy, and to you guys for passing out for fucking and I got to apologize to the wife down there. She was on puppy duty and I was passed the fuck out for 2.5 hours. Fucking jackass. Anyways, but no, I want to thank Christy again for sponsoring this episode. If you need detailing or any service on your car to make it look like it just pulled off the lot, go down to Christy Crystal Clean Cars, located in St. Mary's. Oh no, actually located in Kersey. It's right on the fucking line there. Christy, I'm sorry for the language on that. But but no, it's always an honor and a privilege to do the show with you guys. We'll be back with another episode next week. If you haven't hit that goddamn subscribe button, hit it down below. I mean, come on, we're so close to being able to make stickers of Nate's face and Trevor's face and my face. It would be pretty goddamn cool to do that. Yeah, we'll have more coverage next week. Yeah, it's a goddamn pleasure, fellas. I appreciate it. Yeah. But all gas, no brakes. Have a good day. Have a good night. God bless. And stay safe out there. All gas, no brakes. This is another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Appreciate you, fellas.
Peace.